of our industry partners have decision problems that they're grappling with, and these involve making decisions, and there's so many choices, so many combinations of decisions they can make, far too many to put in a spreadsheet, and far too many to just enumerate on a computer.
Machine learning is being used everywhere today to predict things like prices, things like that, but that's really just making predictions, and then you have to make decisions based on that prediction.
What they need are some smart mathematical techniques to help prune back the search space so they're only considering the options that are likely to be optimal. So optimisation is really the mathematics of decision making, and in a university we have optimisation researchers spread across many different academic disciplines, and so Optima brings together a really diverse group of researchers that have optimisation experience, and we're integrating our knowledge, our language and our techniques into one capability and making that available to our industry partners. The main thing we need from our industry partners is a really great problem, a problem we don't already know how to solve, that's critically important for them, and also a commitment to work with us to understand their problem. I think our industry partners are really enjoying working with us to think about their problem in a new light. They're enjoying working with our very bright students and getting the opportunity to see what they would be like as future employees.
You get access also to a large number of optimisation experts who can start conversations on other questions that you have in your industry.
They're enjoying the professional development themselves, attending our seminars, learning more about optimisation.
They're learning a lot about the new technologies that are available in their problem space.
When industry are making critical decisions, they have to be able to trust the technology. And so the toolkit that we're developing is really aiming, in partnership with our industry partners, to make sure that the tools are supporting decisions that they can feel very comfortable with and trust.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the video on what Optima does. That was Kate Smith-Miles, our director, and Peter Stuckey, our deputy director. Peter's in the back row today and he loves seeing himself on video. So I would like to welcome everybody here today. We got the serious stuff out of the way, so now the rest of the debate is all about a bit of fun. I'd like to put a thank you out there to our outreach officer, Helen Allison, who's organised the debate today but can't be here sadly. I'd also like to thank you to our Optima members that have agreed to be part of the debate panel. We really appreciate the time and effort it's taken. Just one last one sneaking in here. We have an afternoon tea after the debate, so please stay behind and come and chat to us about optimisation or anything else you want to chat about. I'm Charlotte Hurry. I'm the Optima Business Manager, so I'm happy to talk about anything but optimisation. So I'd like to welcome science communicator, comedian and mathematician Simon Pampena to moderate the debate for us. So thank you, Simon.
Hello, everybody. It's the same guy you heard before, but now I am amplified. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Eventually. It's lovely to see everyone here. I thought that maybe this debate would be what's the optimal number of people to argue the affirmative? Apparently only 2. But now we've got 3. Round of applause for everyone who is here. Thank you so much. So yes, hands up who was here last year. Okay, that's good. Okay, there's a significant number who are actually part of the debate. So I don't know if you count as much, but thank you. So that's the people here who have not actually seen a debate here before, talking about optimization. Okay, this time around, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for attending. Yes, as Charlotte mentioned, this is not necessarily supposed to be a completely serious debate. Okay, a lot of you might have already made up your minds on the question. The question being, can machine learning models solve all optimization problems? I won't get you to put up your hands just yet, because that might actually indicate where you will go eventually. But what I want you to do is just park all your ideas, okay? So this is about persuasion. Let yourself be persuaded by the affirmative and the negative team. Before we get too far ahead, I would like to first acknowledge the land on which we stand. We are standing on Wurundjeri land of the Woiwurrung language group, and I want to pay my respects to traditional elders past, present, and emerging. I think we can create an optimal society by including our Indigenous people in all parts of our lives. Okay, so I will be moderating this debate, but the engine of this debate are these wonderful speakers that we have here. So I would like to introduce them to you before you hear them speak. We have first speaker for the affirmative team here on the left. We have Zhen. She is a PhD student at the University of Melbourne, specialising in optimisation. We also have, as the second speaker, we have Gleb. He is a researcher in combinatorial optimization. Can I hear a yeah for combinatorial optimization? All right, you've got your people here, Gleb. Also, part of the adjunct faculty at Monash. And last but not least, we also have Ariel here, Director of Monash Energy Institute and Professor of Sustainable Energy Systems at Monash. Big round of applause for our affirmative team. Lovely bunch of people ready to persuade you. And for our negative team, arguing that, in fact, machine learning models are not able to solve all optimization problems. We have first speaker, Hamideh, a senior optimization expert and supervisor at Capstone at Uni Melb. We also have Henk in the middle, PhD student at Monash with interests in optimization. And third speaker, Sevvandi, is a senior research scientist at CSIRO's Data 61. So big round of applause for our negative team. Okay, because people like structure here, I'm sure we're all into structure, yes? That's good. Thank you. Thank you. I will just quickly go through what the structure of this debate is, if you don't know how debates work. So, but if you do, yeah, just listen, because it's fun to know things together. It's called social learning. Okay, so we're going to hear first from our first speaker of the affirmative, and then our first speaker from the negative. They will get 3 minutes each. Then there'll be 1 minute to confer amongst the teams from what they've heard. Then we're going to hear from our second speaker from the affirmative, second speaker from the negative, both 3 minutes. This is all about equality here. 1 minute to confer after that. And then we will be hearing from the third speaker from each of our teams. 3 minutes again. Then all the things that you've listened to, all the things you've gone, oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I want to know a little bit more. You will have a 10-minute period to ask questions. This is a very thorough debate here. We really want to get to the answer of our debate question. And also, we are going to be asking each individual speaker to ask a question of another individual speaker. So this is going to be a combinatorial problem. So the first person. So basically, in the end, there will be no choice. But there is a choice here amongst you all, which is fantastic, because you will be making the choice on who you think has persuaded in the best way towards their argument. After we hear from those questions, there will be a final talk for 2 minutes from the affirmative and then the negative, and then that's it. And I think at that stage, you'll probably be sick of this question and ready to vote. Yes? Sounds like you're sick already. No, you're surely not. We're just getting started. So for me to actually say anything about this, I wanted to be able to say something. I didn't want to take away from our two teams. Obviously, there's a lot of go-tos here. We have, great aggregators now of human knowledge who are giving us all the answers. And I'm sure you're going to hear different takes on both of those from our two teams. So I didn't know how I could add to the debate at this stage. So I thought I could just maybe ask just one simple question. What is the optimal way to spell optimization? Do we actually have an answer from the crowd? Who thinks it should be S? And who thinks it should be the wrong way? Okay, so I actually used, this is probably maybe the second or third time I've used ChatGPT because I didn't really think there was a good way to use it, but now I have. Is there an optimal way to spell optimization? What do you think ChatGPT said? Sorry? Yeah. No. There isn't necessarily an optimal way to spell optimization because it depends on the variety of English you're using. What a cop-out. So anyway, it waffled on. But surely there is a definitive optimal way to spell optimization. I was a little bit more forceful with my question. And this is what ChatGPT said to me. I understand your desire for a definitive answer. I want to see the data on that. And if they show me the data, I'm going to be actually more scared. But there isn't a single optimal way to spell optimization across all contexts. Blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't happy with that. I decided just to ask one more question. Given that there are far more American English speakers, I'm doing the job for it really, than British English speakers in the world, then the optimal way to spell optimization is the incorrect way, using a Z. While there are indeed more American speakers worldwide, it's important to note that the choice between optimization. So anyway, I just got a little bit emotional. I just asked, why don't you pick a side? Is it more optimal to spell optimization with an S or a Z? I didn't really construct my sentence because I got a bit too heated about it. But finally, ChatGPT does not want to make an answer known. It basically just copied and pasted what it said before. So, is the answer decided? Obviously not. I don't know what's going on here. I am not the expert in optimization, but thankfully we do have experts to convince you of either side. So, are you ready to start this debate? Please give our speakers some energy. And seeing that we have all formalities done, could I please invite the first speaker for the affirmative to come up to the lectern and argue in the affirmative that machine learning models are able to solve all optimization problems. Please welcome Zhen.
Well, thanks, Simon. And actually, what's the optimal way to spell optimization? It's not an optimization problem, because we didn't tell ChatGPT what's our objective. So let's get started. What's an optimization problem? Well, in general, it's about finding the best solutions for a bunch of options based on some criteria. And it's usually formulated into minimizing some function. And we as humans rely more on reasoning to solve such a problem. And we study calculus and design algorithms based on our understanding. But how about machines? Well, they take a different route, which is learning from data to make decisions. And I would like to share with you a few different ways of how machine learning can solve such a problem. So one straightforward way is to train a machine learning model with similar optimization problems and solutions. Say, for example, we want to minimize x squared plus 2x. Then we can build a neural network and then fit the neural network with similar functions like x squared plus x, and etc. With enough time and data, the neural network can surely find the optimal solution. But what's even cooler is that machine learning can also create algorithms to solve the problem. The train optimizer can actually outperform our manually designed algorithm. And this is super useful when we need to perform a certain type of optimization that is hard to solve by classic methods, like many non-convex optimization problems in engineering. Now, some might argue that this really relies on the pre-computed training data, which means that machine learning cannot solve the problems if the similar problems haven't been solved. Well, it's actually not the case, because we have this thing called reinforcement learning, which is basically finding the optimal solution by continuous learning from interaction. And that's what happens in the case of it's not ChatGPT, but AlphaGo. So given all these tools in hand, we firmly believe that machine learning can solve all optimization problems given enough time and data. Oh, it's not always the best strategy, but it's crucial to remember that computers have only been around for 200 years. Compared to our 160,000 years of human history, it's still a baby. Yet, it has made all these remarkable achievements. And so don't underestimate the power of machine learning. It's a superhero with a unique gift. It doesn't need to think like a human to save the day. Just like us, we don't need to act like a chimpanzee to express our ideas. So thank you, that's it.
Off to a flying start. Thank you so much. Okay, are you being convinced towards the affirmative? I love the introduction. Just by defining things as not being an optimization problem, surely works in your favor. Is it all about definitions from the affirmative team? Reinforcement learning, and also the fact that we're just getting started with this machine that's going to take over all of our lives. Sorry, I don't mean to be ominous. So anyway, we've heard a great opener from the affirmative, but now, to start the debate in the negative against this question, can I please invite up to the lectern Hamideh from the negative team.
So we need them. Thank you, everyone. So let me start by proper definition of what is machine learning, what is optimization. Machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence that focuses on developing algorithms and models capable of improving their performance as a specific problem only. This improvement is achieved through the iterative process of optimizing and fine-tuning their parameters and decision-making processes based on available data. Okay, so you heard the words optimization and available data. So what is optimization? The proper definition of optimization is it's a subfield of operation research that focuses on finding the best possible solution to a problem with a set of constraints. This outcome can be minimizing cost, maximizing revenue, or other specific objectives. Optimization methods help decision makers make informed choices and improve process in critical areas such as logistics, supply chain management, energy, and other real-world problems. So why we believe machine learning cannot solve all of the optimization problem? There are many, many limitations with machine learning at the moment, and we think if they continue this way, we'll continue. So I bring up only 3 limitations, which are very critical. The first one, lack of guaranteed with optimality. Machine learning algorithms typically provide heuristic solutions and may not guarantee global optimal. This is very critical in some applications in medical domain, in space, in defense area, for example. The second limitation, data requirements and generalization. Machine learning algorithms heavily rely on data, and when we don't have those data, or even if the data are biased, we cannot rely on those decisions. So that's why the traditional machine optimization gives us a better and reliable solution. And the third limitation, we cannot interpret or explain the result of these machine learning algorithms. Black box nature of many machine learning models, making it challenging to understand and justify their decision. So I'm going to show you one of the very simple problem that is a classical optimization problem called bean packing problem. Given the strawberry and blueberry here, I put them in 3 different glasses here. Can we find a solution? I pack all of these into the minimum glass here. So as an experiment, what do you suggest? I start to put these here. So I put here, there we go. So with machine learning and optimization, both of them we can experiment and find these two are the minimum bin that we can have, the minimum glass that we can have. Oh, wait a minute, we changed the constraint. You can pack this while you're eating in 15 seconds. So now you need to decide which one. Am I going to eat strawberry or blueberry, or I'm packing in 15 seconds? Do you think this machine learning can do that? Wait until the minutes to see. They need to collect the data for all of these, and even at the end, they cannot guarantee this is the best. Machine optimization can do that. Thanks.
All right, big round of applause. Okay, so we do need to quickly mention, for an optimal debate, we need to have an adhesion on the time limits. So I was over 3 minutes. So, sorry. If it's over, it's over. So, so in actual fact, what was happening here with the fruit happened over the 3 minutes, but I'm going to be a little bit loose with it. If you felt like that was actually worthy of it, then you can put that as part of your calculus. Who doesn't like blueberries? That was a rhetorical question. Okay, so anyway, you have heard the first volleys here in our debate from our first speakers. What I'll be doing also is, for our second and third speakers, I'm going to just say 30 seconds for the final 30 seconds of your 3-minute allotment. So please take a minute now to just confer. You can make some communications. We will just have a chat. How do you think we're going? Yeah? Are you hearing the arguments that you want to hear? Yeah? You're not. You don't look very convinced. We actually, we've got an interesting, I just had an interaction with one of the members of the audience over here. Someone had a fantasy football situation going on, not using optimization, just using gut. Yeah? What does that say about optimization? Obviously, it doesn't work. Or maybe there's just the thrill of winning. That's what it is. He's agreeing with me. Thank you so much. So anyway, we're seeing that even amongst experts, you're an optimization expert, you're studying? Yeah, it's like just being coy. Why not? We can say that we are in this room. Still, non-optimization methods are still attractive. Interesting. Okay, are we all ready? Are we ready to go onto our second speakers of this amazing debate that we're doing? Can we please have up for the affirmative team? Can we have Gleb come to the lectern and convince us of the affirmative?
Machine learning is still a baby. As already mentioned, it requires a lot of data. So to learn what is a dog, machine learning requires 1 million of pictures. But it is also an advantage. So machine learning algorithms can process a lot of data. So let's see if we can do something with it. So, and also as mentioned, current machine learning cannot generalize. It cannot think high level. So if we combine the ability to process huge amounts of data with the ability to generalize, then we obtain something superior, a new superior kind of intelligence. And on the technical side, there is a lot of potential for that. So artificial neural networks operate with thousands of neurons, but estimates for human brains say it's hundreds of billions of neurons, which is 8 orders of magnitude larger. So imagine that we bring the algorithms to that degree. And so that's some general observations. Let's come to a concrete example. So there are several professors in this room. What is a professor? A professor is a machine. A professor is a learning, teaching, problem-solving, and publishing machine. And professors have been solving all problems that came their way. Okay, you can say past performance is no indicator for future performance. But they have even solved unsolvable problems. So if So this is an existing prototype, right, of what we are looking for. So we just need to explain how they learn to do it and put it into an algorithm, so and transfer it to an artificial device. And professors even have to explain how they solve, so that's the question with explainability. Thank you.
"30 seconds. Is that it? Wow, round of applause. arguing with an optimal amount of time. So this is what's happening. So now it's like there's going to be like a decreasing. Everything's going to be monotonically decreasing. Sorry, professors in the room, is it okay that you're getting characterized as machines? Hands up, professors. Hands up who want to be professors. Yeah, is that okay to be called a machine? Yeah, okay, excellent. All right, so were you convinced there? I had one question. How can you solve an unsolvable problem? I mean, if it's unsolvable. Anyway, sorry. So I don't know whether it's a question for Gödel. Yeah, sorry, I'm just seeding. Okay, so that was another fantastic speech we've had. For the affirmative, can we please have a response from the negative? Please put your hands together and welcome up to the stage, Henk.
Hello, everybody. So, if we look outside, we can see the long, cold and dark winter is over and summer is here. And with that, I don't mean the Melbourneian summer. I mean the summer of AI and machine learning. Because machine learning, has made some incredible advancements recently. We see, judging from the opening arguments here, we are talking about playing Go, computer vision, folding proteins, making chatbots that only give cop-out answers. It's like incredible. So when this debate came along, I was getting a little bit nervous, to be honest. So I opened up ChatGPT and I wanted to ask it to help me draft an email to Ariel if I can like join his team, because I was getting very scared. But before I did that, I couldn't resist the temptation of asking ChatGPT like, hey, do you think machine learning can solve our optimization problems? And I was expecting a cop-out answer, but it actually said, and I quote, no, machine learning cannot solve our optimization problems. So I was quite surprised here, of course, and a bit relieved to save my PhD thesis from irrelevance. Because what I had heard was that machine learning is nothing short of modern day magic, right? But then I looked a little bit further and I saw it's all based on data. You just pour endless amounts of data into hungry GPUs, they will discover some patterns and that will allow them to basically guess at solutions. And these guesses can be very accurate. On the other hand, optimization solvers take a different route. They also involve some guesswork, but mostly they rely on reasoning. And I will cover my phone here because I don't want to hurt ChatGPT's feelings. But like Gleb said, it's actually a baby at reasoning. It cannot do any reasoning whatsoever. Because if we look at competitions in classical OR problems, and then I'm talking about a few like the set competition, the max set evaluation, the mini-sync challenge, the MIP computational challenge, and the flatland challenge, there is no ML. They are not competing. Well, they are competing in the flatland challenge because there's a separate track there for the machine learning approaches. So we can compare a little bit, and then we see that actually the optimization approach, co-developed by our optimization group at Monash, actually finds in 15 minutes a better solution than the ML approach in 8 hours. So there's like a huge gap there. But so that is why I think that at least today it's very clear that guesswork cannot replace reasoning, and so machine learning cannot replace optimization solvers. That is, thank you, that is today. Maybe tomorrow, like Gleb said, the artificial intelligence models will grow up and they will improve, right? Maybe in next year, maybe when Melbourne has 3 nice days of summer in a row. Maybe that will happen. right? But even then, we might not want to replace machine optimization for machine learning models. And that will be the subject of our first speaker. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Hank. Okay, so I'll get you just to confirm that we've heard from the second speakers. I'll give you about a minute. That was a great speech as well. I think everyone's getting going. This is exciting. So we heard from Hank. He didn't want to upset ChatGPT, and you all laughed. That wasn't a funny thing. You don't want to upset ChatGPT. They're listening, and one day everything is going to be settled. So just be nice to ChatGPT, and if it doesn't give you an answer you don't like, don't just say, oh, thank you. Okay, so it's basically, but I do love the argument there. I don't know what you've got against Melbourne summer. It's great when we get it. And also we're just hearing the argument again of guesswork versus reasoning. And there is a time element here. Right now it's not possible, but will it be possible? Have you had enough time? Are we ready for the closing arguments? Sorry, not the closing arguments. The third speakers for the affirmative. Can I please invite up to the stage Ariel?
So thank you, everyone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to review what my colleagues said about optimization versus ML. I'm going to talk about some real-world optimization principles and then demonstrate that ML does indeed do all real-world optimization problems, and in fact, optimization doesn't. So ML algorithms is great at learning and in taking into account new information and finding solutions, and can even learn from perfect but unrealistic exact optimization problems, right? So, and the human brain is one such amazing ML computer, and even invents mathematics and optimization theory and algorithms and various kinds of ML systems, and can learn to generalize that way. So it is far superior, in fact, and it really is just a machine and just a very clever ML. Now, in fact, mathematical optimization, OR, and on top of all this, is an applied discipline which grew out of solving real-world problems, as Kate Smith-Miles said in last year's debate. And she's an authority, so you should listen to that. They require perfect foresight and perfect knowledge of key parameters. However, all real-world problems, optimization problems, are indeed very messy and have lots of uncertainty in their parameters, and therefore an exact solution is impossible. And the best solution for an optimization problem is always an approximate one, and one which is what ML excels at. So there's really only one approach really to solving any useful optimization problems, and that's with ML. The absence of perfect information optimization is just helpless and useless for giving you even an approximate solution in most cases. And so all those cases that it becomes useful indeed are augmented by machine learning. So you can't really get away from it. All optimizations, therefore, are impossible to solve for any actual optimization problem algorithm, even with sufficient approximation, because they're built from the ground up to guarantee optimality. And this is done in a way that rules out the ability to properly generalize and to relate useful real-world problems. I mean, this is getting so ridiculous that certain optimization experts even refuse to work on problems that only have continuous variables. You know, while most problems in the world, 99% of the variables are continuous, you know. And if you think that's bad, you know, I have some colleagues who refuse to work on problems that have any continuous variables at all. I mean, they dress it up in this ridiculousness in fancy names like constrained programming and multi-agent pathfinding, which seem to only be useful for evil empires like Amazon in their world domination and dehumanization strategy through the deployment of medium-range automated warehouses. So in conclusion, not only are optimization algorithms a tool for world domination by evil empires, but they're also completely useless for all important optimization problems on their own, while ML can do it in its sleep, and usually does, and even sometimes comes to the help of those so-called exact optimization methods. So QED. Thank you.
Fantastic. Ariel did go a little bit over time, but I'm sort of going to collectively put your time together. So as a team, you're still under. fantastic. I love the fact that you've brought up everyone's unease and anger with Amazon to put forward your argument. Hands up, who likes? Oh, no, let's not do that one. Okay, so very interesting again about definitions. Definitions. We're hearing definitions. It seems to be a battle of definitions and also scope. So I think for the audience, take that into consideration. And I'm hoping that there's some good questions brewing. Okay, so now closing. Closing for the negative. Can I please invite up to the lectern Sevvandi, put your hands together for her.
Well, thank you, Ariel, for confirming that machine learning problems cannot find the optimal, but just find an approximate, which is not so good. But I want to point out a couple of things, right? Gleb said that you need million pics of cats and dogs. It's like a baby machine learning. But babies don't require million pictures of cats and dogs. They know after, say, 10 maximum cats and dogs, even your one cat or dog at home, babies would pick it up. And then there was this human is a machine. Yes, sometimes we feel our professors are a bit like machines because they do a lot of work, but they are not machines. If one of if their children or a loved one would tell them, you are like a machine, they would be hurt. You know, so let's have it clear. Humans are one thing, machines are a different thing. If we all merge everything is a machine, then that's not the point. Humans are physical, breathing, you know. We go to the toilet. Do machines go to the toilet? No, right? So they're two different things. We are not going there even. And then Ariel said it is superior. Seriously? Machine learning is not doing well at MIP challenges, MathSat, Flatland, or Minisync, and even Google, the massive giant of machine learning, to find the path used Dijkstra's algorithm, which is an optimization algorithm, not a machine learning algorithm, right? So with the lack of data, what would you get? You would get almost nothing. And there's another thing, explainability. Even if it did well, which it doesn't, it cannot explain anything. My first machine learning problem that I worked on was to find in space, when there is lots of space junk going at seriously high speeds, if it bumps onto a spacecraft, will it make a hole? We built a machine learning model and we got a paper published. However, then I asked the person, will it be used at NASA? Because this person previously worked at NASA. He was at the Defense Institute, worked with Kate. So I asked him, he said, oh no, Sevvandi, they're never going to use these things. You cannot explain it. You're not going to put, the spacecraft's thickness, the wall thickness is not going to be determined by an ML. You can't explain it. You're putting humans in there. It's too much cost. It has to be like a physical equation basis model where you can say, in optimization, if one constraint is not met, you can say, oh, this is why you can't find an optimal. If you increase the number of rooms to another room where you're doing a rostering problem, you can find and say, oh, because of this, you can go there. You can explain it. And that is what we need. Machine learning is miserable at that as it is, even though they're trying, even though they are trying, maybe in a nice point in future, it will be there, but right now it is not there. Say, for example, with a, am I over? Mm-hmm. You didn't say the 30 seconds. Okay.
I'm sorry, I've changed the rules because basically I thought you were on a roll and I was going to let you go. But anyway, big round of applause from both teams. Thank you for stopping on a dime. That was amazing. We've heard two fantastic teams here. Sevvandi, I think, is probably made an impact there, shaming machine learning for being a slow learner. That might be a convincing thing, seeing as that it's not a human because it doesn't go to the toilet. So that seems to be a very good argument. So now what we're going to do You've heard these two teams make their arguments to you, but now I want you to experience them asking questions of one another. So, what we're going to do is we'll start here. So, if you would like to, you're able to choose one member of the affirmative and actually ask a question. And they will need to answer, and then that person can then choose someone else in this team. They need to answer, and we'll go back until we've exhausted all speakers. Is that understood? And then we're going to open up to the crowd. Is that good? Yes. Okay. Please. Now, also your answers must be within a strict 1 minute time frame, please. Ask away.
So, Ariel, I was interested to know the relationship between the main question that we have here. We're claiming machine learning can solve all optimization problems. I missed the point from your perspective. You said, yeah, they are so hard, they are very complex, no one can solve the problem. Again, you're confirming that, yeah, there are some optimization problems that we don't have a solution. And all of those machine learning algorithms can generate something good. It's better than nothing. So I missed the point with the argument for today. Could you elaborate more?
1 minute?
1 minute.
Well, you shouldn't have asked me this question, because now I'm going to answer it. And I'm not just trying to fill up time. You've saved me time on my closing remarks, because I think you haven't defined in the statement of today that we're talking about exact solutions, and there was nothing in that statement. All optimization problems and optimization solve, and optimization were not defined. So I think a natural thing is to define them as a real-world use case would define
30
them,
seconds.
and then therefore in the real-world use case, as optimization is designed to solve real-world problems, unless it's a purely theoretical discipline, is approximate and so optimization, most problems that can be solved are approximate in reality, right? Show me most problems that can be solved exactly.
And you guys don't want to use all your time. That's time. Round of applause. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So definitions. There were not definitions at the beginning. Wow, we sound like a bunch of mathematicians here. And also, it's just, kind of wasn't exact. So what are you arguing about? All right. That's a nice summation. Would you like to now ask a question of a member of the negative team?
Do I have to? Or can I?
Yes.
All right. So I will ask Henk about one of your colleagues' statements, not your own. I don't think that was against the rules, right? What's important area, like the explainability, like really, why, in what cases will we ever use explainability, and can you demonstrate that all optimization problems are explainable in a way that's actually useful to most human beings who are the beneficiaries of optimization algorithms?
Okay. 1 minute.
Thank you. Ariel, would you like me to answer this question?
Yes.
You would like an explanation?
No? I want an answer. Sorry.
So, to that, the answer is yes, we want explanations. The explanation of that is that there are many cases where machine learning only acts as a black box. There are real cases where people have applied for bank loans and have been denied. And they have not been granted any explanation of why this is.
30 seconds.
For instance, is this part of, is the income their problem, right? Or any other factors? In Europe, actually, the GDPR establishes the right of any individual in the EU citizen to have an explanation. So with that already set in law, I think this is actually a very important point of my colleague.
Okay, that's time. Thank you. All right. Things are heating up. That's a really great response. Okay. Henk, could you please ask a question? It needs to be someone else that we've heard from. So if you can ask your question, please.
So I suppose to Gleb, I would like to ask, once these machines learn, become orders of magnitude more powerful, how do we control them from not killing us? No, different question. How do we ensure that their outputs are not unbiased in some way? How do we guarantee a lack of bias in the outputs of these very powerful models that we're creating?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, I guess there are a lot of developments going on this. I think from Melbourne, Monash team, many people are doing this unbiased and fair optimization of machine learning. And there's a lot to do. So one approach is, I think, a Wasserstein function. I'm not going into technical details. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot going on, and
30 seconds.
Actually, we can learn how different peoples and machines do. I think.
Okay.
Good answer.
Fantastic. All right. Can we please have another question? Can we switch this one on here? Would you like to ask a question?
Yes. So we talked about this difference between humans and machines, that I think two speakers said that humans can explain their decisions and machines not. So, well, the current machine learning algorithms do not explain them very well, but they're algorithms, so technically this is doable. Maybe the explanations are not very good. So, yeah, I think those are humans which are not machines, as we know some are. They so can you give me an example how real humans, and in how many cases, they really explain their decisions?
Okay. The debate is, can machine learning models solve all optimization problems? So it's not about humans explaining their it's not clear to me why the humans explaining their decisions matter, but I'll answer the question that in optimization problems, we can say when things fail, or we can like trace back down and see, okay, you don't find it optimal because of this and such and such. Like, of course, human is not a machine, and human is not in the debate title, Gleb. So I'm not going to, I feel like that's another, wild goose chase kind of thing. But no, with optimization you can, but with machine learning you really have to try hard to get a proper explanation, and this
seconds.
is still a done?
It's okay, keep going.
Okay, so it's still a developing field, and people have continuously said explainability is not about computer scientists building algorithms for other computer scientists, where only computer scientists can understand. If I'm going to the doctor and I'm diagnosed with a terminal illness, I want to know why. Why do you say that? Suppose the doctor says, oh, Sevvandi, my model says from all the input weighted into a function and then goes through a ReLU function and then comes out and then goes through sigmoid. Oh, you've got the cancer, my dear. Is that an explanation? That's the kind of explanation right now machine learning is you know this, you know.
That's time. That's a perfect place to end there. Thank you so much. Okay, are we all good? Okay, we are going to have one more question. So, Sevvandi, could you please ask a question? Zhen, you'll be answering this question. So, please go ahead.
Yes, you talked about the reinforcement learning, and then maybe without data. But then I want to know how you are. How kind of, without my understanding is with the reinforcement learning as well, you kind of create the data as you go, right? So you are in a way creating data, and that depends on the system you're putting in. Wouldn't that also be, in a way, not getting the real data that Ariel speaks about?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I talk about reinforcement learning is in the case of we don't have pre-computed data, then we can create the data by ourselves. Like the machines can create the data by itself. And yeah, that's the answer. And can I add something more? Because like, thank you for your previous answer, that you do agree that we are debating today whether machine learning can solve all optimization problems. And then you ask the machine to provide explanation. That's a different problem, right? So it's not fair for the machine learning to provide an answer while you're asking it to provide solutions. So, well, it's just the thing that we are not approaching the problem the same as the machines. So the machine can provide the solution in a different way, and it can. Yeah, that's it.
That's time. Thank you. Machines manufacturing data. Is that problematic just for me? All right, thank you. And also we're hearing more about the scope of this question. Is explanations, can you see explanations as part of this debate topic? We're hearing some great, you've had your time. So, shaking your head is still language. All right, so can we have one last question, please? So we have one last question. Yi, could you please ask a question to the last person? And then we've completed that part, and then we can actually open up to some questions from the crowd. Yi, do you have a question for the negative?
Do you want me to ask a question?
Oh, no. Okay. So you mentioned that machine learning cannot solve all the problems because the lack of data. So which means that it's not machine learning don't have the ability to solve the problem. It's that we don't have enough data, right?
So I'm not sure if I understand. Is it working?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I'm special. So one of the limitations with machine learning, as I mentioned, is they need proper data in order to train and then predict or diagnose the pattern. So when we don't have that data sets, we cannot trust that machine learning result at the moment. I just go back to the first example here. So in order to start to look at this problem again, the bin packing problem, now I have to look at it in terms of the decision that needs to make is I need to collect the data. What the data is, how long does it take I eat any of these fruit in order to bin pack and also eat in 15 seconds. And the data will be different, how I eat or another person. And that's, we have to look after the bias and every other aspects of the problem that we usually have with the data set. So it's bring the trust, not being able to trust the result of machine learning. That's a big challenge. That's my point.
Okay, thank you so much. You have now heard from both teams. They have interrogated one another, asking questions, asking for definitions, bringing up biases. Do we have enough stimulation in the crowd for questions from you, and that's you singular, to actually ask of our members here? So let's try and get an even spread. Maybe, are we able to have a mic here? So, would you like to go first? So, please ask a question. It would be great if it was a question both teams could make an answer to. So, it would be great.
Yeah, I can ask a question. So, thanks for the debate. It was very interesting. My question goes to the affirmative team, but maybe
you
can answer. So, based on the definitions everyone mentioned, especially the definition of machine learning use data and then does optimization within the process to make a decision. So sort of machine learning is also an optimization problem to be solved. I don't know how can machine learning solve all the optimization problem, then it's also an optimization problem.
This is great. Sounds like a mathematical debate. Optimization problems strictly contained within all optimization problems. I'd love to hear your answer.
I guess there is no machine learning technique without optimization. So machine learning has embedded optimization. So there is no such thing that, like, sorry. Yeah.
Quickly, yes.
So you give an example of neural network. Many of the neural networks going to sigmoid and going. So at the end, wanted to minimize the cost function there, which is the objective. So based on the example you gave us at the beginning, so that's still a optimization problem, and it should be solved through optimization.
Yes, what I mean is there is no such thing that is machine learning without optimization. So, do you want to add?
I can add something.
Yep, we'll hear one more. Yes, Ariel, would you like to add something?
Them later.
Very good question. So you're challenging to say that you can't have ML without optimization under the hood. Yes, you say. Sure, but once you've done it, it's ML. So and ML solves other optimization problems, and so I think our argument stands. Nobody said that ML can't have a dependency on optimization to be a valid definition of ML. I mean, but if it would be, in fact, what's the opposite of circular to claim that? So we have to work with what we've got, and ML is still ML, even with optimization under the hood.
Interesting. And can we have a response here from the negative?
So that's a good. It's so. It's amazing to hear from the other team that they go back to the circle. Yeah, machine learning. Were you convinced that machine learning can exist without optimization? We all know it won't, because they need those minimization or maximization function at all. But here we are very generous. We never wanted to say machine learning is a subset of, is a field of optimization at all, because they are one of the application of optimization. We try to be generous and say, yeah, we try to collaborate together. We solve each other's problem.
Okay. Are we convinced? Do we need more questions? Yes, we do. Have another question over here, please.
Thank you so much. Those were really, really interesting points. And Wasserstein is water pebble. So the question I have for both of you. I want to talk about two different fields. Aviation for the ones who are here and the legal justice system over there. How will optimization help in these? I know aviation has made a big progress in that, but how would the legal justice system be benefiting from optimization? If you say it's not the role of theirs and the human factor is there, is it going to be a fair system? Do we see that as humans?
Aviation. How can we answer that in the framework of the debate? So the first question was about, aviation?
So I'm sure aviation is using a lot of optimization. That's why we have such high safety standards.
So can all aviation optimization problems be solved by machine learning?
Sure, they can.
It just depends on how many air crashes you're okay with, I guess.
Yes.
What is optimal?
There's just been a news article in the New York Times that there's actually a lot more close calls in the aviation industry than we actually know about. So in that sense, I think relying on more machine learning there that adds more noise and less guarantees is actually a really bad problem. On the other side of things, in the legal system, the first lawyer that used ChatGPT to write his opening statements has already lost his license to practice. So I would put my money more towards optimization and having guarantees. At the same time, sort of harking back to the previous question, I do see a lot of benefit to combining machine learning and optimization. Especially if we can improve the guesswork component of optimization solvers by using machine learning, that is great, because then we don't lose those guarantees that we rely on.
Okay, so let's remind ourselves how many crashes were there when people tried to learn to fly. That was because they did not use machine learning. And the same is to a legal system. Thank you.
That was funny.
So there'll be no more airplane crashes at all because of machine learning. Is that what we can draw from that as well?
Orders of magnitude less.
Okay, so so we've got that, and also can we answer for justice as well, if you'd like to make a point of that?
Yeah, there were machine learning systems used, like Compass, where you have a person and then say, will this person reoffend or not? And what they found was, like, black people, this was in the US it was used, and they found black people were more they said, the model said they're more likely to reoffend. And obviously it was wrong, because, you know, it was drawing upon the suburbs that they had lived, all kinds of unfairness issues and biases creeping into the model that is there. It may be in the data, maybe in the way the thing converges, and all that kind of thing. So a better way to go about, if these models are going to be impacting us, then we need to know the reasons, and it needs to be more transparent. That is where the GDPR and all these other legislative measures that are being introduced are going. Now, I want to point out that all these measures are mostly for these black box machine learning problems, not for optimization problems. No one is saying, and why not? Because you can see where you can trace back and say, if this was that, it's all a lot more seriously transparent, orders of magnitude easier to see. So again, machine learning is really useful, and there are lots of good stuff with that, but and I want to point out that machine learning would not exist without optimization, but optimization can exist without machine learning, right? So it has for several decades and a couple of centuries, maybe. Yes. Thank you.
All right. I think this is probably the last question we're going to... Would you like to make a response as well? No. You rest your case.
We're not fun being here.
Okay, that's okay. Probably one last question. Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. Question, yeah, actually. I had two. Let's start with a simple question, then maybe I'll try to squeeze one in. How did you learn to put the berries, how did you learn to put the berries in the glass like that?
Cool. Yep, go for it.
So there are several techniques. I mean, I started to put it exactly like a human, to put, try different things. That's what machine learning also does that, yeah? And in the meanwhile, I also can use, there is a technique called, in optimization, they call it mixed integer programming. It has a history. We can put it in the model, and it will generate and say, this is the best, based on the size, the volume, and the shape of the glass that we have. It can generate what's the best, how many, and even the layer on top. It's very fine-tuned in mixed integer programming. You can generate that. Did I answer your question?
I think that seems right.
Yeah. And while they are thinking, because they have to think to answer that question, because they don't have the answer, and when the rules change,
we reason.
Yeah, they're thinking. Right. Yeah, they have to find reasoning. So, and when the rules change, it's just piece of cake. You just go back in mixed integer programming, and you add your new rules, constraint, and say, now let's run the model. And those algorithms, branch and bound, those beautiful algorithms that have been developed for years and decades, they are still available, and we can use them. Yes.
Okay, so we see that the theory of mixed integer optimization was developed for decades. And the people who created this theory, they needed to be educated, and the generations of people before them. But machine learning, we see what ChatGPT does after just a few years of learning, right? So this problem, I'm sure, when starting from scratch, machine learning can do it much faster.
Much faster.
Can I just add that? Like, if you put that question into ChatGPT, ChatGPT will tell you you can use mixed integer linear programming to solve it. Then machine learning can use optimization algorithm to solve an optimization problem, and machine learning can solve the problem then.
Okay. Big round of applause, perhaps. This has not been an optimal use of time for all the questions, unfortunately. What we're going to do is we're going to stop. So anyone else who had a question, please use that question in your vote. We are going to now please ask. I'm just going to ask for like a 1 minute. Is that going to upset people? Can you just do a 1 minute roundup? Yeah? So this is the final things that you will hear from both teams to finally convince you. As we actually are starting to lose people from our crowd, we need to get this thing on time. Oh, it's nearly 3.14. 3:14, please. Can we hear our closing remarks from the affirmative team?
All right, so I'm starting to feel bad for the negative team. I almost don't really want to do this, but okay, so but just to sum up, optimization can solve some problems exactly and some not at all. Like bringing new information here, sorry. ML can solve all optimization to a useful precision. So, in recognition of these facts, we heard a lot of desperation from the team for the negative. You know, they started bringing in explainability, speed, you know, even exactness, none of which was in the thing. So, you know,
30 seconds.
They really just desperate, and that's because they know they're wrong. So, you know, useful optimization, and, you know, is my bias. So fair enough. Maybe I'm, you know, biased there. But maybe data is intrinsic to bias. So, you know, finally, I mean, like really, the whole argument about data is ridiculous. I mean, what you're telling me that an optimization problem, even an exact one, can do it with no data? I mean, you've got to have data, right? So data is it. Like, you know, it's just that it's more useful the more data you have.
All right, big round of applause for the affirmative. All right. Desperation. Okay, so can we hear closing remarks from our negative team? You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think, anyway, so, so we saw several issues with if you don't have enough data, how machine learning problems are going to do badly, and then there's lack of data. The affirmative team says, okay, machine learning can create the data and then give the data. That's a little bit like a dictatorship, right? You create the data, you train the model. No, you know, it's not all that great. But we've shown that machine learning models cannot solve like the MIP challenge, MATSAT, Flatland, and all these challenges that are falling short. And the teams that are winning are the optimization groups. Google has an optimization group, OR group. Why? Google is using optimization, Dijkstra's algorithm, to go from A on B. If machine learning can solve all optimization problems, surely Google would do it. You know, we know that it can't. But deep inside, what time?
That's time.
Okay.
All right. Have you heard enough? Can I hear a consensus? Yes. Do you have enough data to now make a decision? Do you need time to discuss amongst yourselves? Do you need time to quickly check with some of your favorite machine learning online tool? No. Are you happy to make a decision based on the fact that you are not machines? Yes. Do we feel comfortable with that? Do you feel comfortable with that? Oh, wow, this is fantastic. The first time they've agreed. You have heard two fantastic debates. They have frayed at the edges of this particular topic. They have chosen to change definitions, alter definitions. They're trying to persuade you. And now we will see how well each team has succeeded. So, are you ready? Could you please show me in an old-fashioned hand up, and it's only one person, one hand, okay? Don't change the definitions on me now. Please hands up who felt that the affirmative team has won the debate that machine learning models can solve all optimization problems. Okay. Is that 17? Can we say 17? Can someone remember 17? Okay. Can I now Have a show of hands of people who do not like being asked to put their hands up. Okay, one person. I'm going to 2 people. Okay, can I please have a show of hands who believe that it is the negative team who have put the case forward that machine learning models are not able to solve all optimization problems? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You don't need to count.
Yeah, I know. This is theatre. So, oh, look, I've gotten to 18 optimization problems solved. Can you please put a big round of applause together for the negative team? Thank you so much to the negative team. We have some prizes. We don't know if this has been optimally stacked inside these boxes, so please forgive us. But I'm sure you'll find a heuristic way to solve it. That's fantastic. Can you give both teams a fantastic round of applause? Now, I'm sure you will be joining us for refreshments afterwards for personal interrogation. Is that true? Yeah. You happy for that? Okay, they've agreed. You've all seen it. Big round of applause for yourselves. Thank you for being such an awesome audience. You've done a great job. And keep working and make sure these machine learning algorithms are all doing the right thing by all of us. I'm speaking on behalf of humanity, which we all are. Anyway, thank you so much for a wonderful debate, and please enjoy some refreshments. Thank you.